Hey everybody, how you going? For those that are joining me now, thank you very much for waiting. Just put the boy to bed and just varnished up the banners. So let's have a look here. Decorations. YouTube. Okay, well, it should be fairly dry. And those in the comments, please comment on which banner would you like me to paint tonight. Would it be A, B, or C? You guys get to vote. I don't know why it's gone inverted though. That's another thing I need to check. Why the camera's doing it like a mirror image. Here we go, live chat. Speedboat's here. Table Salt, how you going? Thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for joining us. Just working out, what have I done here? With my whiz-bang camera. Okay, integrations. Facebook. Okay. Well, I'll just have to run with it as it is. I may have just forgot to click one thing. C is my vote as well. Okay, so C it is. Thanks, guys. Let's get into it. All right. So, of course, people have got a chance to win this banner that I'm painting today. And to do so, all you need to do is in live chat and just comment. And at the end, I'll get all the names of the people that have been in the live chat tonight, and we'll raffle it off. So it should be good fun. Just got a nice mix of yellow ink and Bad Moon Yellow, I think it's called, from Vallejo Color. Let's put down nice base for the yellow. If there's some pencil lines and that kind of thing, I'm going to go over those in beige just to erase those later. But just put a nice warm yellow on there for now. I just drew these out this morning, actually, before going out. So they were fun to do. They're a little bit shorter than the ones I've done on my Orc knobs. The ones in the Orc knobs, I think, are about another 5 mil longer. So you get a nice sort of stretch to the faces and that kind of thing. But yeah, this came out good and fine enough. And if I can, I'll try to finish it off in one session. I think that's possible. So, what have you guys been doing today? Aha, okay, so Speedboat has got some few bosses ready for banners. That's good, mate. So hopefully this sort of a tutorial, I suppose you could call it, maybe. But at least shows you the process. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's just like painting a miniature, but just in 2D, I guess. But I don't know how, if the color looks absolutely awful on the screen. It looks really terrible on my screen. It looks like it's all pink. So I don't know what's going on there. There's something I must have missed in the when I set up the camera that it hasn't integrated with YouTube. I think that's the problem. The paper, well, it's been varnished, so it loses that porous property to it. So the paint sort of just sits on top of that varnish. It won't if you don't varnish, it'll just it will just suck it straight up and it'll just ruin it. So you really need to varnish the paper. Flesh color, yeah. There's something wrong with the camera, guys. I'm sorry about that. Geez, just when I thought I had everything sorted out. Yeah, it's coming on pink as well here as well. What the hell's going on? Okay. The hue. Looks like the hue is what's mucking that up. Turn some of these off. Obviously, I've just gone a bit too overboard with the settings here. Leave that on. That can come off. So it's nice that I can sort of change it and modify it as I go. But there's obviously some other step that I can do because before I could zoom in and that kind of thing on the through the stream, and now I can't do it. So there's something I've just missed. One step. Looks like it's not actually integrated into the live stream, which is a shame. But that's okay. We've got time to go over and trial it and that kind of thing as we go along. But the color, at least now, is a lot better. Aha! I see a familiar name there. I think it's Jurgen, I think. Hey, is that Jurgen? Just going to add some orange now to those sort of areas where I wanted it to be a bit darker. Around the bottom of his nose and nostril and his lip and that kind of thing. Just a little bit. So I hope that whoever wins this will actually have a good use for it. I was thinking too that, if you don't have models and you don't have any orcs as such, you could put on a piece of terrain or something like that as well, like some kind of orc fort or just some kind of decorative piece. You could use an objective marker or something like that. You could even use it for fantasy. There's no reason why you could use this for a fantasy miniature as well. So what are you guys painting at the moment? When you're painting with me, hopefully. Not just sitting there. B does look like it's got a booger. It's actually a nose ring, but maybe that looks a bit weird from where you were looking at it. But yeah, once I had painted that in, you can always change it and modify it. It's just like a quick sketch, and you can always go back and just correct things if you need to. But yeah, it does look like it's got a booger. Yeah, actually, that's this color here, Jenk Master. This color here is actually one I made up. So it's actually a dark gray from Vallejo model color that I stuck a whole heap of blue in there. I can't remember exact recipe, but when I did my dwarves a long time ago, yeah, I made up my own sort of black blue recipe for doing like a mid shade on black. And when that ran out, I couldn't get the exact color because it was such a perfect color that I was really happy with. But I got something that's fairly close, and I really like it because it gives that nice, very rich mid-tone to the metals and that kind of thing. And I can just add another couple of highlights there, and it's finished. So it's a really nice little color I mixed up there. So yeah, if you need to mix up your own colors, you can do it with old pots that you have only a little remaining paint in. Just stick some ink in there. So if you got like, for example, black and you want like a mid-tone blue, just stick a lot of black, stick a fair bit of black and blue ink, and some kind of like a dark gray, and mix it all up. And yeah, you probably have something that's quite nice, and you can sort of experiment with that. So Flo Mars is here. Hi man, how you going, mate? Joshua Page. I like the look of a bee. Looks like he's got a book. Okay, Josh, you've been there before. Thanks, mate. Just trying to catch up on the comments there. So thanks very much for everybody joining us. And again, comment to be in the draw to win the banner. If I don't get it finished today, I think I should get it finished. But if I don't get it finished, then I'll upload a pic. It's going to be drawn at the end of the week anyway, I'd say, and before the end of October. And yeah, I'll put it in a nice Christmas card from Gork and Mork and send it off to you. So I thought banners is a really good way to actually use as prizes, because most stuff I can't send out of Japan because of the restriction on postage. They just don't send stuff out to countries anymore, like Australia and Canada. Can't send anything to them. So if you're in Canada or Australia, you could be in trouble. Just depends. Let's put some more black on my palette. You can probably see the palette there, which is good actually. Let's see what I've got there. If I just move over this, because I can't zoom it in anyway, so I might as well put the palette in shot so you can see exactly what's going on, because I can't zoom in, unfortunately. So just waiting that to dry. It's a little bit wet there. So just thinking, what did I use for that? Okay, so I painted those blue and I painted some yellow. What I might do, I might actually paint, just looking at those triangles on the border there, I might have to paint those yellow too. I might do that right now. So I'm going to do the ones sort of further away so I can put blue on the other side. And who out there likes painting banners? Is, it's something that I've sort of come back to after a really long time away from painting banners, because a lot of other, it could be like historical banners or whatever, but yeah, for a lot of other game systems, they don't have banners. And I think that's one of the things that really made this era so colorful to me, was the shield designs and banner designs. And they're all hand painted, which made them look even better. So, hey Tim, how you going, mate? Yeah, I can understand. It's sort of like an afterthought, or it's kind of like, well, that's going to take a lot of time, and I'd rather spend that time on painting models. So, yeah, no, I can understand that. I've got, I just did one last night for a Black Orc that I had sitting there for like for ages, probably a year. That needed a banner because I took all the plastic ones off and I replaced them all with the paper ones. So I finally got it done in our chat with Maxi yesterday, and I've got another dwarf for my um, iron breakers that needs a banner too. So anybody got any games coming up at all? Aha, Blood Bowl tourney, eh? Nice. And Tim's going to play Six Head Warhammer Fantasy. Cool. Yeah, you'll find people, mate. If you're in the UK, which I know you are, then yeah. There was a tournament, 5th edition tournament, way before COVID. I don't know where it was held though, but yeah, there was a whole bunch of guys playing it then. Okay, I might have to switch out brushes. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to move this a little bit closer to me because it's getting a little bit difficult trying to reach over and paint in those little triangle cubes there. Triangle sections, I should say. Need to get some more of these brushes. That's the Artis Opus range. It's really, really good brushes. I really like this particular one, the zero size one. But I think it's almost at the end of its days in terms of having a fine point. I've got a game with Justin next Monday, playing Orcs versus Empire. We haven't done it yet. So 5th edition, and it'd be 1,500 points with drafting. Really looking forward to that one because I said to him, I don't think we've actually played Empire versus Greenskins yet, and it's like the last day of October. So I said, well, look, we're going to do that. We were going to do the Skaven campaign one, but I think we'll put that off. I just haven't got any. I just had no time to paint any more Skaven in the meantime, and I don't think he's had much time to do much of his Empire stuff. So that'd be cool. So look forward to a video on that, probably Tuesday or so. On the 1st, and the 1st, because that was on a Sunday, sorry, that game. Not on Monday, it was a Sunday, and on Monday I'm playing Paul in game of 40k. So that's our plan so far anyway. We'll see how it goes. Right, so we've got most of the black there. Looking pretty sharp. I'm going to mix some of this grey and blue. And while it's still wet, I'm just going to blend that through in a couple of places. So, guys, remember, if you're just joining us now, to be in the chance to win this banner that I'm painting at the moment, please leave a comment. Please say hello, or please get involved in the discussions and that kind of thing. Okay, let's try to paint his eyeballs. So I might just paint it all black and then I'll go back with the white dot. It's always easier. Got a bit of brown, heavy brown there on his big tooth. Okay, and let me just see where we are here with that. So make a join there because that's part of the front of his face there. So make a join there. And I suppose when you're doing banners and it's something that's not, when you've got like a concept drawn out or whatever, you're going to have to adjust it here and there until you're happy with it. And in some ways, there's a lot more forgiving than painting an actual model because you got a little bit of give and take here with going back and correcting things. You don't have to blend as much if you don't want to, and you can keep colors fairly flat, and then just give them a nice sort of highlight here and there, just to emboss them a little bit. But apart from that, I think it's hello. Have we got Cathuria? How you going? Ah, nice squats. Yeah. My mate's got squats, and I played him once in second edition back in the 90s, but looked like a pretty good force. And Marcus has a whole heap of stuff for them. Guys in trikes and well, the guild masters, aren't they? And X-Armor squats and all that kind of thing. He's got the whole lot for them. I'd be really happy just to pick up a whole heap of plastics and some of the metals and roll with that as an army, actually. Cathuria. I'm going to get it wrong. It's just bound to happen. Thank you very much for joining us, and I apologise if I have got your name wrong. Add a bit of dash of grey there. Thank you very much, and thank you for understanding. It's the unpronounceables. I'm terrible at pronouncing people's names. I allow people to pronounce their names first, and then I'll follow suit. But yeah, generally I'm just a complete klutz with names. Okay, what I might have to do there is just put some more yellow in there in a second. Or I might just try to finish off the Bad Moon faces first, and then move on to the edges and stuff. So you probably have seen a podcast that's dropped on your feed today. If not, go and check it out. That's Dave Gilson, one of the guys at the latest Bring Out Your Lead event. Who also runs the 4th edition group on Facebook. And you may have seen his big birthday game that he played at the Foundry, which was like just an insanely big game when he celebrated his 40th birthday. I dropped the link to his blog in the show notes on the podcast, so you can check it out. And yeah, it's got really lovely stuff on his blog as well. He's got a massive collection of stuff that he's collected over the years between him and his brother. So yeah, it was a really interesting chat. So if you're looking for something to listen to through the week, I'd highly recommend going and listen to Dave talk about how he got into the hobby and stuff. It was really interesting. Yeah, I bet so, mate. With multi-melters, they would really cut through things like butter, wouldn't they? I'll have to try that with my next game against Paul, against that bloody emulator thing that he has that starts burning and frying all my poor orcs. And I didn't get a chance to get a shot at it last time, so I really hope this time I'm going to just get it in because I think the side shots, the vehicles have a lower armor and stuff, don't they? So it's only a Rhino chassis, so unless it's got any vehicle cards on it that gives it bonus armor, it should be fairly easy to take out. But yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, you need to really take those things out as quick as possible. The big stuff. Otherwise, yeah, they just start wrecking things. But because they're squats, it's all okay. I 100% endorse anything the squats do in 40k. In fact, I was thinking about that before, that, for me, 40k stops when squats were taken out of the game. I know how everybody else feels about that, but yeah. Now, you could say that 2nd edition didn't have squats in it, but it did have it. They were in it. They just didn't have a codex, sadly. So your friend, was he using the pamphlet codex in the 2nd edition book for that box set for the to make his army and that kind of thing, or was he using some kind of fan made squat list? Official pamphlet, okay. Well, at least they've got psychic powers, which is good. Makes it a bit more interesting for the dwarves, or the squats, I should say. Now, maybe someone can tell me the miniatures featured in Dark Millennium, the squats featured in that. I think there's a couple of squat warriors or something, just like Brotherhood guys. Were they ever released? I'm thinking not. I think they're just sort of, prototypes and they just never got released. Yeah. Yeah, that's true, eh? But isn't the Allies only like in vehicles? Right, okay. Well, I'll even take recast models of those. I think I actually had those when I came out of the UK. I can't remember how I got them. I think my manager gave them to me or something. I'm not sure, and I swapped them all for I think it was an entire Escher gang, which is absolutely crazy. I think people would be just tearing their hair out in disbelief to what I did. But yep, I had all the unreleased. I think most of them anyway. I had like the Troll Slayer, like the Slayer variant guys. Yeah, maybe someone, one of those guys out there, has like the work in progress of the squat codex. Maybe a printed copy of it somewhere, because the Berserker guys, they weren't in that pamphlet thing for the 40k box set, were they? Because they had like Slayer type guys, like fully, yeah, Cyber Slayers, yeah. I can't check, man, because I think I got it here actually. Just give me 2 secs. I think I just got it next to me here. Here we go. Got it. Let's have a look. Squad army lists. Here we go. You had a Warrior Squad, Attack Squad, Thunderer Squad, and just a weapon team for support, Bike Squad, heavy weapons, bike, vehicles. That's it. So yeah, the Cyber Slayers would have been something they're working on, like profile wise and special rule wise and that kind of thing. So wow, yeah, maybe someone has that. Hopefully, they would have printed it out or something like that, maybe, and they've held on to it ever since, or it's still part of GW's property or whatever. But I'd love to see what happened with that. Did they actually did I think there's a squat sort of fan based codex out there, but I wonder if they included those in there. I'm part of the Facebook group for squats, so I need to go and check it out because I know someone had something there with a fan based codex. Okay, so people joining us, thank you very much for coming. If you would like to win this banner that I'm painting up, here all you need to do is just enter some comments in the chat, guys, in the live chat. The ones that are registered like after will not count. So only the people who are in the live chat and come to say hello and converse here with the other people in the chat, they'll be entered into the draw. I'll gather all the names at the end through the week or so, and then once the banner is completely finished, if I don't get it finished tonight, then I'll draw out the lucky winner and work out your address and that kind of thing. Now, for as far as like contacting you, what I'll need to do is like put in the community post the person who won it, and then that person will have to contact me through my email address, and then at the Crown Command podcast at gmail.com, and then we'll organize the letter from Gorka Mork to you. Let's just hope that Japan Post will accept your country as one of the countries they'll send letters to. Yep, Chaos needs some good ones. Please check for me if the Black Codex for Orc allies. Oh, I see. Okay. So it's that one you're looking for. Orc army list. Here we go. Blood Axe mob. Okay. Here we go. Well, I can't see anything here, mate. I can't see anything about you can take any other. Well, you can't take Imperial allies. It doesn't say anything here. So the war gear list doesn't say anything in the war gear list. Allies. Orcs may ally with Chaos. They always ally with Imperial Guard if at least one Blood Axe Orc mob is in the army. Okay, well there you go. So does that mean they can ally with any Imperial Guard unit? Imperial. And Imperial Guard, Imperial Agents, Imperial Guard. Okay. Now, so they can ally with Imperial Guard, which is really, really surreal because then it's like an entire army of orcs just with one Blood Axe unit, and they can have these guys as allies. You can have Ratlings, which is quite cool because I was looking at Ratlings the other day thinking that'd be quite cool to paint up and use as a squad. So I could use those. Ogryns, well, they can already take Ogryns. Penal Legion squad. Rough Rider squad. Rough Rider squad might be cool. I suppose the vehicles are what the things you really want, isn't it? You know, you want a Land Raider or a Leman Russ or Predator, Rhino. Sentinel will be quite interesting too, yeah. Okay, well, that's cool. Unfortunately, they can't take squats. That'd be quite funny if they could. But yeah, this little black booklet is really good, actually. Does anybody play just using the black book? This is the Codex Army lists, by the way, from the second edition box set. Do you know people who actually just play only with those lists and not with the codexes that came out and superseded that? I suppose the squats would be, one of those. I suppose if we get a chance to ever interview Andy Chambers, then I suppose it's one of the hot topics, wouldn't it? Like, what happened to the squats? They had them in the had them featured in the Codex army lists, but they never materialized. They had models made and painted and featured in Dark Millennium, so it got to that stage, but somehow they just got put on the back burner, and a lot of other armies just were just in higher priority. It must be a sales thing, I take it. Yeah, that sucks, because I reckon they look brilliant. I think they're brilliant in the lore. Like, yeah, I don't get that one, but I can see maybe from business point of view, if they just weren't selling, then they can just use any excuse they want, I suppose. And yeah, not say it was but due to sales. Probably just it just didn't figure in their plans long term, and decided just to scrap them altogether. So yeah, but it's a good question to ask the guys if I ever get a chance to, or get someone to ask them if they have them on. Maybe Gordon can do it on the Life of Die podcast. Maybe he can ask him. He seems to know him pretty well. Now, did squats actually have banners? Because thinking about it, I don't think they actually had banners on them, did they? They had a standard bearer. But I can't remember actually having seen Road Trader squats with banners on them. Maybe Imperial Guard were the same. They didn't have any banners. All right, so going pretty well here, guys. We're getting there. Sort of cleaning up bits and pieces now and making it all sort of neat and tidy. I'm not going to use a Sharpie pen now. This is something I used to do before, but Angel told me not to do it because I asked him how he got his banners looking so nice, and he said that I don't do any black lining, and ever since I did stop doing the black lining, it really looks a lot better. Because naturally you just sort of go with a Sharpie and sort of outline everything, but I found it a much better, more subtle look to the banners without the Sharpie pen. So thank you, Angel, for that. That was a great tip. And one of our subscribers, asked me if I would be willing to do some banner commission work for his armies. So we're sort of in talks about that for next year. I'm just too busy right now, but yeah, maybe next year I can do some banner commissions. No one's ever asked me to do that, so that was a bit cool. I think that's a bit more interesting than just doing painting models. Sometimes just doing some banners, it's really relaxing, and I enjoy the creative aspect to it. So see what happens there. Yeah, I'd love to see. Yeah, I'd love to see those, mate. I can see here. Let's see show. Yeah, I would love to see his squat armies. You can send pictures. I just clicked show on there, so I don't know if that means you can show pictures or something. I'm not sure. I don't know how that works. I just clicked something on there. So perhaps you can share images now. I'm not sure though. And I've got to ask the Epic narrator how to get music on these streams, because it'd be nice to have some music in the background, just some soft music in the background or something like that. In his streams, he has that. I don't know how he's doing it. Yep, that'd be great. Thanks, mate. Yeah, we can make a video of that. Yep, sure. Squats are just very, well, let's just say they're not really, an army that people have a lot of. They don't have a large collection of them unless you played Road Trader and you're really fond of squats. But yeah, you really don't see many armies of squats pop up anywhere. So I'd imagine the models are just really rare as now and super expensive. But I'm not looking, because why bother? I can't afford it anyway. So, but I've got one model. Maybe I should do that in Dwarfsember. I've got one squat model from my mate Dino in Australia. So I think he's a squat musician or something. And happy to say that Dan Buman and Marcel received their parcels. So I'm really happy it made it across the Atlantic. Dan's, I think, going to unpack it today, maybe. He's been really busy, so he's got a new undead army, or the beginnings of one anyway. So I'm really happy for him that he's got that, and Marcel's got the most expensive dwarven unit ever I've ever bought. It's the Foundry Dwarf range of miniatures. The very first unit I bought when I first started getting back into playing Warhammer again, about 4 years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And at that stage, I didn't know about the trading groups online, so I just went on and looking for models that would be suitable for sort of like fourth, fifth edition or third ed sort of style dwarves, and I found those, and I ordered 20 of them, and I think they're about £4 a piece. Luckily, the shipping was free, but yeah, that's the most expensive unit I've ever bought. It's cheaper buying the actual originals because you can get it for about £2 to £3 a model. And when you're looking at buying 20 models a piece per sale or something, it makes a big difference. But yeah, not to discredit them. I mean, they have a good service, and they were willing to ship it for free, which is amazing. And I got it pretty quickly, and the casts are pretty good, except for one that was a miscast. But I didn't bother, trying to get another one for it. I think I just replaced it with a Citadel model instead in the unit. So, all right. So let's see. Okay, anybody just joining now, please leave your comments here in the live stream to be in the chance to win this banner. That was the entry requirements if you want to be in the draw. Come and say hi, get involved in the chat. I would like to integrate, Facebook and YouTube at some point if that's possible. I want to try to avoid Streamlabs because every time I use it, it doesn't work. But maybe that's probably just me. It's probably the user, not the program that's bugging things up. Oh, my tea's gone cold. That's a shame. Yeah, mate. Yeah, I mean, I think I had to spend at least £80. I think it was £80, £90 to get free shipping. So they've got some kind of deal with their shipping company or with the postal system or something like that. So where they get like a much cheaper rate when they send it off. But yeah, their markup would be pretty high. The orcs were like £5, I think, a piece. And they're massive. They're like they're really big models. They wouldn't fit. I like the models, but they wouldn't really fit with what I'm doing if I did something like completely different, like a different project altogether. And I was putting like a small warband of orcs together. I've seen them painted up in like rank and file, and they look really, really nice. But man, those figures are so heavy. The dwarves would like just weigh a ton. So Marcel will have fun trying to wheel those around the tabletop like I did. But in the end, I just thought, well, I've got enough. I've got enough dwarves now. I've got all the originals that I wanted, and with the exception of a few clansmen and that kind of thing. So, and I needed room in my cabinet because they're all sort of taking up a lot of room. So Marcel was kind enough to take them because he's helped me out with a lot of stuff that he sent me over the years. A lot of Man of War stuff and some fantasy battle stuff as well. Surprised he's not here, actually. I thought he'd be here tonight. Now, with news of the fanzine, for those wondering when issue 3 would be available, because it would be available this month normally, and that was our intention. But having talked to Angel about it, it looks like life has just caught up with everybody. Angel's got a change of work circumstance, and I know he spends a lot of time with his kids in the weekends and that kind of thing. And it really relies on a lot of Angel. We can produce all the articles and stuff. We can write up stuff and take photos and all that kind of thing. But he's kind of like the conductor. He's sort of putting all this together as a graphic designer. So without him, um, it makes it very, very difficult. And he wants to do his own art and that kind of thing, which looks fabulous. And yeah, we're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. We would love to see more of your art. That'd be really great. But it all comes down to time, and I think by the look of things, we're going to have to postpone the October issue and seriously think about um, for future issues after the third one's released, whether we should think about doing it every 4 months or every 6 months instead of every 2 months. So yeah, we'll just see how it goes. We did bring the issue page size down to about 30 pages to make it more manageable. But even then, just due to things happening with me too, I just hadn't had the time to do stuff, due to studying and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's just been a bit difficult this time, guys. So people have been asking, yeah, when's the next issue coming out? But unfortunately, it won't be coming out this month. How long have I been in the hobby? See. Well, I think the first game I bought was HeroQuest, and that would have been when I was about 17. So a long time. I'm 47 now. never really left it, apart from a sort of a silly time of my life when I was doing silly things and wasn't doing much hobby. Sort of left the whole, because I think that's when sixth edition came out, and we all and the group that we were playing just sort of dropped it and weren't going to invest in a new edition. So we just didn't do anything for a while. So I just played a lot of video games and stuff at that time. But generally, yeah, always been painting and stuff. How about yourself, mate? How long you been in the hobby? Three years. Wow. You're really a newcomer then, hey, mate? So that's good. So you said before that did you say you were playing sort of more modern stuff now, or the modern games, which you sort of came back into playing the older stuff? How did that happen? How did you get into second edition? And my name's Josh, by the way, so to save you calling me Crown all the time, Josh will be fine. I have the newspaper to prove it. My painting desk is still covered with the first newspaper I never used to catch paint. I ever used to catch paint. Okay, cool. All right, it's not that I don't believe you, mate. Yeah, I believe it. So how did you get? Because I actually met someone tonight. Actually, someone messaged me on Instagram and said that they had just um, bought some dwarves from a guy. I think he's in Japan in the military. He works in the military or something. He's a serviceman in the military, and someone had sent him some '90s dwarves, and he liked them so much that he wanted to play Warhammer with him. But I don't think he's ever played a tabletop war game before. So he said, when are we going to play, and where do you guys hang out and that kind of thing, and can me and my wife join in? I said, yeah, that's fine. That'd be great. So yeah, he's sort of coming in from I think more of a board game, card game type background, and Age of Sigmar, and maybe some 40k, maybe, I don't know, something like that. Yeah, coming all the way back into fifth edition. He likes the look of fifth edition. So, and I saw him on the Old Hammer Trading Group trying to buy some really old school dwarves on there, and I thought, maybe he's a third edition player. And I didn't really think much of it, and then he contacted me about it, and I said, oh wow, okay. I remember you from the trade group, and so that was quite interesting. I play a game called Bold Action with a man in his late 60s, an ex-teacher, and one day he showed me his old collection from when he ran a club at his school. Wow, I love the models and fell in love with the Old Hammer community. That's excellent, mate. It's amazing how many people got into the hobby through teachers, eh? Your case is very unique, but people that I've listened to through the Meeples and Miniatures podcast, a lot of the people who got into wargaming through their history teacher, and they'd bring all their historical miniatures to the school, and they'd have some kind of club day where they'd have they played war games. I think that's amazing. Um, and Balder from the Warhammer Renaissance group, he's doing his own homebrew fourth edition rules, and he brings his models to the school so the kids can play Warhammer, which is, I think, is a really amazing thing. I haven't brought miniature games apart from HeroQuest to my classes for my high school kids a few years back, and they really enjoyed it. They loved it. I think it was something totally new for them. They've never seen anything like it. So I'm always really excited about presenting games like that to young people. It's to get their reactions, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So that's wonderful, mate. And Bolt Action, that's not a bad game. I wouldn't actually mind playing. I played it back in Australia when it first came out, the very first book, and I was quite excited about, because this is before I was playing Infinity at that time, I think, and I thought, oh, I'll give Bolt Action a go. So I saw Rick Priestley was involved in that kind of thing, and yeah, it's not a bad little game. I just didn't play much of it, unfortunately. But I like that. I really like the order generation, how you activate troops. And I've got Test of Honor, which is based on that same system. I think Alessio Capotorre wrote the rules for that game, not Rick Priestley. Sorry. Hi, Guy. How you going, mate? The Old Hammer community really is second to none. Absolutely, yeah. It's really good to see now that they're embracing more of the sort of 90s stuff now as well, whereas it wasn't the case. I was always quite reluctant to share stuff on there because I thought that people would go, oh, this is not real old Hammer. This is like the Tom Kirby era, where in actual fact it was still the Ansel era. It was just it wasn't really true old Hammer as people would think would be. It's more fourth and fifth edition stuff or second edition 40k, but yeah, that group's really changed a lot. Maybe it's just changed admin, and the old guard have left and formed their own group. Maybe, I think, or they've just gone back to um, their forum, which I was a part of for a little while, but I haven't gone back. And in truth, that forum is not really my place. I don't think. I think it's for those guys who really love all their old games, and I just don't play them. I like to look at the pictures and see the stuff in the gallery, and the terrain stuff that some of the people are building were beautiful, and that's it. I don't really need to be involved in it in any other way, just as a um, just a person looking in, having a look every now and again, and checking it out. But yeah, good bunch of guys though. They both worked on it, if I remember correctly. Okay. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, there's a forum called Old Hammer. If you look on the internet, you'll find it, and it's like an old school forum, and it's got a lot of content and stuff in there. It's a really good place. It's a um, it's great if you're really into those old style games. They'll love that. Like if you show them your collection of models and that kind of thing, they'll really get into that. Um, Unfortunately, I don't have any third edition or Rogue Trader stuff apart from the Orcs. They might like the Orcs because that's all Rogue Trader. In fact, I don't think I've got anything second edition apart from the support weapons and some of the Gretchen second edition. But I think everything else is all Rogue Trader. Apart from Diego's Nightmare miniature Gretchen that I got, which are just brilliant, brilliant figures, which you can buy from his store. And I notice a lot of people are using those now in their orc armies, which are a great alternative. But I love the original ones because they're so tiny, and I love the scale. I love the scale that Kev's um, these goblins and stuff, like back in the old days. They just got a lot bigger, maybe because of his eyesight and that kind of thing. But oh, great! Well, I look forward to seeing those squats. Don't get me tempted though, because as much if someone had like a whole heap of those plastic squats, I'll be tempted. I'll be tempted to then invest in an army and then try to collect things over the years, like get a few bikes and mole mortars and thud guns and all that kind of stuff, and put an army together. But I don't think that'll be anytime soon. But yeah, the squats do interest me, and I'll be willing just to play it out of the pamphlet, out of the codex, the Black Codex. I think that's it's comprehensive enough. The Exo Armor squat, and I think the Adeptus Mechanicus squat. Man, he looks so cool. I would love to have that figure. He's absolutely brilliant. Oh wow, Armorcast Tyranid monsters. I've never even seen those. One space off Epic. Yeah, don't buy one for 300 Canadian, mate, because what they're doing now, they're actually scanning those and you can 3D print them. So I wouldn't spend that much money on them. You probably find the 3D printed ones will be better anyway. In all honesty, because they won't have all the horrible bends and that kind of thing. Because of all the warping and that kind of stuff, and maybe they can correct any of the pock marks with all the bubbles and that kind of thing. Maybe they can smooth it out in the programs and stuff. But I saw the battle wagon for it; looks amazing. So yeah, don't spend the huge money if you can get it 3D printed. Oh, the termite. Okay, yeah. Well, I think Bob Ollie was still doing some miniatures, wasn't he? For squats, they weren't really my cup of tea, personally. But I thought the Perrys did all the squats anyway, because people refer always with Bob Ollie to squats, but I think it was the Perrys who did all of them. I'm not really happy with these eyes. I want to go over these again. But we're nearly done, guys, and that's been what, an hour 20 minutes or so, an hour 28 minutes. So I'm just going to do these eyes again. So thank you for participating to this point. Hope it hasn't been too boring for you. Hope you've enjoyed the chats. That's the most important thing, like in our live chat. But I'm thinking looks pretty good so far. I can always put some extra, just tidy up little bits and pieces I see that need touching up later. It's a little bit difficult with a stream and in this position sometimes. So and my son is sleeping next door, so if he wakes up, I've got to go. Basically, I can hear him turning around and knocking into the walls with his legs. I think he's still okay, but if he does wake up and realizes I'm not there, then I'll have to run off. But I think we've got most of it covered now anyway. Again, if you're here and you haven't entered your name in the stream, do that for your chance to win this banner. I can send it to you. So that was... Now, if this proves to be popular, then we can look at doing future giveaways like this with banners, and we can have we can include fantasy banners or different factions for 40k or fantasy battles for banners too, where people can vote and that kind of thing. And because maybe it will be perfect for your army. If not, maybe it's just nice to have as a reference material put on terrain or something like that. It's just a lot easier for me to send something like this than an actual model. And I do have this model too. That's at Odd Git. I don't know if you saw the post on the Chronic Command podcast community page, but this is the one I'm giving away for those who don't know, for any of my Patreons, anybody who signs up until the end of the month, basically till the 31st. If you're in, then you're in it for a chance to win this classic 1998 painted model that I won gold in the command group category. And it's just been languishing away in my storage box, and I've never used it. I don't know why I bought this version of it and not the Kev Adams Shamans, which I have both of those, and I've got them painted and I use them all the time. So this guy never gets used, and I don't know actually if I use it in any of my battles. Maybe I did back in the 90s. I can't remember. But anyhow, this guy will be raffled off and sent to hopefully someone who's going to really appreciate it and use it in games. I really don't like having models that aren't being used, and I'd much rather just give them away or trade them or something like that, and have them being put on the table so people can use them. So if that would interest you, then click on my banner, check out Patreon, and if that's something you would like to do, then join in to have a chance to win it. Contrast paints. I've never used one because they're so bloody expensive in Japan. I just refuse to pay that much money. I think they're over $10 American per pot, and I just don't see the value in them. And I'm a bit biased with paints. I stick with Vallejo, and they're the paint system I've been using for over a decade, and never been happier. So yeah, it's not something I've. There's a big hype about it when they first came out, and now it's sort of all died down, and no one's talking about it. I know they give good results for people who use them, but yeah, it's never been something that I've always had to think, oh, I need to get contrast paints. Um, I was thinking for good uses for them, and maybe for epic scale models where you sort of batch painting really small miniatures and they're a pain in the butt. Doing something like that with contrast would be really, really successful. I think for that sort of scale, War Master would be another one. Yeah, but I think it just really depends. Like board game miniatures, maybe. Yeah, if you're gonna paint a whole heap of enemy or NPC guys or whatever they might be for your role playing sessions and that kind of thing. If you don't want to spend a lot of time on it, doing that kind of thing would be good. From what I can see of the results of stuff that when they first brought out contrast paints, I wasn't really all that, wowed by it because it looks all very milky and like the effects of the paints look very milky and not really um, vibrant enough. I don't know what it is, but some look really vibrant, like a lot of the reds and stuff and oranges and that kind of thing. Some people swear by some of the colors, and some of them they're not too all that keen on. So maybe having a couple of paints for yellows, maybe yellows are really good for contrast. I don't know. I suppose it just comes down to experimentation. Just try that for yourself. Check out reviews on YouTube and make up your own mind, and maybe just get a starter set and see what you think yourself. But I think like for my son, like if he's going to get into painting, maybe contrast will be a good way for him to start. He can just sort of slap paint on, and he gets a nice, gets that sort of instant gratification of having to see a model being painted. It doesn't take that much work to achieve good results. So maybe that's a good incentive for someone just sort of starting out. Bon. Hey mate, how you going, mate? Thanks very much for joining us. You're now in the draw to win this banner, so well done. Mate, I'll keep doing the work if people want to keep watching. If this is still relevant to anybody, that's great. Yeah, I heard that Army Paint is releasing something like that too, eh? Yeah. Yeah, like in Japan, GW stuff is way like I don't buy it, but I know it's like it's incredibly expensive compared to a lot of other countries. So, and funnily enough, the Japanese just pay it. They pay the money. So I think they're crazy. Okay, well, I think the banner's pretty much done. Like, I just need to touch it up through the week, just to sharpen out a bit in the areas. It's a little bit difficult in this position. I usually have it sort of, on my lap or like really close to me while I'm painting it. So painting it like on a flat surface like this with me hunched over the paper or the model isn't the best position for me. But basically, I think it's turned out pretty well. It just needs a little bit of refinement here and there. Straightening out some edges here with the triangles, sharpening those up a bit, just sort of balancing the skin color on the moon faces would be nice. Tidying up the corners here, and then when it's done, I'll give it another varnish. I'll paint the back of it in blue, and I'll just cut it out like so. So you've got some space on either side, so that when the person receives it, whoever the lucky winner will be, they can just get an X-Acto knife and just cut it out themselves. Or they can just hang on to it if they ever need to use it for an upcoming army, or it might be the catalyst to start them on their journey collecting an orc army. Who knows? Yeah, you can put on terrain, you can put on your models, you can put on a dreadnought, war machine, you name it. Use it for fantasy. It would fit right in there with a fantasy army, no problem at all. And Max Katz is here. Hey Max, how you going? Thanks for joining us. You just got yourself an entry into winning this banner, mate. So well done. But I think I'm going to call it there, guys. It's about an hour and 35 minutes. I think we've pretty much made our point today. We've got our banner done. So I hope you enjoyed this stream. I'm sorry I couldn't get it all zoomed up like I had intended to, but I think I just missed the step of integrating the camera into the app, the live stream app. So we'll get that sorted, and I'll make sure that's all fixed up for next time. If you want to say thank you to me for these streams, you can always buy me a coffee. The link is in the notes, or go to my banner and buy me a coffee. That'd be great. All proceeds will be going towards buying a lifetime license for this application that I'm using through my camera to do the live streams for you. I hope to make them as consistent as I can, every 2 weeks, probably, not every week, because usually I'm interviewing people. Next weekend, I've got a really busy weekend. I've got the guys coming on, Dave Perry and Stuart Thomas, two heavy metal painters. So that'll be awesome. I don't know if that's going to be video or just audio. We'll have to see. We've got a lot of heap of questions from Discord for the guys who want to ask some questions. So that was really great. If you've got any questions you want to ask those guys, you can always go to our Discord. The Discord link is on my banner. So if you go to the front page of the Chrono Command the Chrono Command Games YouTube channel, you'll find on the top there some links, and on there will be one for the Discord channel, and you can go there and join our community there. What brush is that, Josh? Now, that's a good question. If I got $1 for every time someone asked me what brush that was, it's a Neo Sable brush. It is from Pentel, the company, which is actually made, I only found it recently, they're actually made in my prefecture locally. It's a Japanese brush. I don't think they're available worldwide, because a lot of people have a lot of trouble trying to find them. I have given them away in prizes. I actually sent one out to Dan in the States just last week, so he should get those hopefully very soon, actually, to try them out. And I gave some to Dan Buman as well in the States as well, and a few other people. They're not for everybody, but for me, they're a really cheap alternative to buying really expensive brushes like these. It's had a bit of a hard life, my Artis Opus brush. You shouldn't treat them like this, but they're about are they £12 a brush, I think. Well worth it. They're beautiful brushes, amazing brushes, but with the rate I'm painting, and they're just not lasting. So these ones are about $1.80, I suppose, equivalent to US dollars, under $2 US dollars. So I can just use one for a month and throw it out. So they're really good. If you can get those Neo Sable brushes from Pentel, give them a go. and see what you think. This is a size 0, and I use that in a size, this is a size 6, which I use for like more bigger stuff. But you'll see that the tips will curl. I mean, they're just synthetics, so they won't last very long. But, they do the job. So hope you enjoyed this, guys. Thank you very much for coming on. Thank you very much for joining me. I always worry that no one's going to come and say hello. But thanks to Jack Master, Bonbon, Cathuria, Flomaz, Craig, Mark. Craig, you're in the you're part of the entry as well, so that's great. Excellent. Thank you very much for joining us. Yes, works a treat for Epic for Gargants. That's a great point too. Yeah, this will look awesome on a Slasher Gargant or a Great Gargant. That's a really good point. Thank you very much, Table Salt. Thank you so much for your support, mate. It's good to see you. I was actually going to message you to see where you were because I haven't seen you on the Discord for a while. And I think Marcel's going to organize a Hero Quest adventure for us soon. We need another adventure, don't we? So it'd be good to do that. It'd be good to catch up then. Tim, thanks for joining us, mate. Good to see you here. I hope you're enjoying painting your models and your Blood Bowl stuff, the massive Blood Bowl collection you got there. But everybody, thank you very much. Everybody who's commented now will be in the draw, and I'll get that underway. And when I've done the randomization, whoever the lucky person is, you'll see it in a community post through the week and with a photo of the finished banner. So guys, until then, take care, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.